Good day, folks. Welcome to 2500 ProMaster Avenue, also known as the Man Cave, aka the back of the van. However, this time I'm in the front of the van, but I'm sitting here after just making an overnight delivery. I'm wide awake, so I figured let's do a van tour. So this is tour of my van, Expediting in Comfort Part 2. Though for some of you guys that are aware, I did do a tour of my van about 2 years ago out of a Ford Econoline. This time we're doing it out of a 2018 ProMaster. Like I said, it's 2500, so it's not the full-length ProMaster. Certainly isn't a Ford whatever those are, Transits or whatever they're called, but that's all our vans. But I'm going to show you how you can actually expedite in comfort, minimal sacrifices, and you're doing it with a van that fits inside of a regular parking space. Okay, so let me go ahead and turn the camera around. Let's get to it. Okay, the front of my van, unlike with the Econoline, I was only able to do minimal stealth. This is what you're seeing in the front. There's nothing special here. My front seat is a mess, but I don't take out the front seat because I want to still be able to haul passengers. I keep a tablet set here for listening to music. Oftentimes it's Bluetooth, so I listen to music while I'm driving down the road, or if I'm parked now, I can just sit here and watch videos or whatever. That's a aircraft video. But I also have a rear view camera that operates full time. So it doesn't work just when you put the vehicle in reverse. The vehicle comes with a standard reverse camera. If you put it in gear in reverse, you notice there that camera also pops up. So I got a reverse camera or backup camera or whatever. But here I use the backup camera and I wired it so that it stays on, so I can see what's going down the road. But anyway, there's nothing else really to see up front. So let's go to the back where all the action is. All right, so we're going back. I'm actually going to take you all the way through because there's a lot to see here. I tried to make this video about 10 minutes long, and there's just too much going on to make it in 10 minutes. So I'm going to open up the doors. As you see, I'm at a Flying J, but here's what the vehicle looks like. It's fully in freight mode, so it's ready to load up. It is 12 feet long exactly, 144 inches from front to back. So we can hold three standard skids. It is 54 inches across, and I believe about 70 inches high. I'm 6'6", and I can almost stand up in here with a little bit of nod forward. So this is what we got. If you notice, I have three sets of what do you call those, wood beam socket holders lodged in my E-Tracks, and I'll explain that to you in a moment. But yeah, this is what you're working with here, so I'll go ahead and start explaining some things to you. Basically, I'm still using the same power drive, 2,000 watt inverter. There's a Bluetooth speaker up above. I'll let you know what that's for. And then I have up top four 1,000 watt Renogy 100 watt Renogy solar panels. This is my solar controller. Tells you the voltage. I mean, it's not very sunny and it's not a warm day today, so not really getting a lot coming in. But yeah, you can kind of go through everything there. So it tells you everything's going on there. Now I'll take you over to what I call my utility bank or entertainment center, whatever you want to call it. This time we upgraded the TV. We're looking at a 40-inch Element television. It's not a smart TV because, you're not going to be, Wi-Fi is not reliable when you're always mobile. So we're 40-inch TV. We do have a Bluetooth surround bar. And below that, we'll just tell you everything. This vehicle has a lot of power in terms of outlets. There's about 20 outlets or more that are all around the vehicle. And one thing I like to have is the vehicle to be always operational, so you can get unloaded, get in the back, and you're not setting up stuff. Everything's ready to go the moment you get back. It's just push and play, no plugging. Everything's plugged in, everything's already powered up, and everything's mounted. All of this stuff is either velcroed down or screwed down or whatever applicable way of mounting it safely. So everything's mounted. It literally looks just like this going down a highway. So that shelf, you don't have to worry about stuff moving off of this. Everything's as you see it. So we're going to tell you, we have a typical coffee maker here. It makes 5 cups of coffee. I just was making one, which is why it looks kind of hazy. Next to that, we have a Miss Pac-Man controller, which it plays Miss Pac-Man on the television through the RCA jacks. You guys might recognize the Nintendo. This is your controller. The Nintendo's Velcroed down so it doesn't move. That Nintendo is, let's just say it's been kind of hacked. I'll show you kind of what I'm talking about when I say it is hacked. Goes through the HDMI 2 port. And if you notice on the HDMI 2 port, well, it's got Castlevania up here. But basically what I'm trying to say is this Nintendo has every game that Nintendo created for the 8-bit system. So you can literally select them by alphabet. So I was trying to do that, but I want to make this video quick as I can, so we won't keep going with that. We won't dwell on that. Above the Nintendo, we have a weather station. You see it's kind of cold today. It's 43 outside. Just opened the door, so it's 70 in here, and I'm assuming that is going to continue to drop. Next to that, we have our secondary CB back here. I don't really use the CB radio too much back here. Only reason why I put it there is because it has the weather channels on there. So at a touch of a button, I can get instant weather. You know, you wake up in the middle of the night and it's pouring down rain, or you hear some noise. You can turn on the weather station to find out what's going on. Once I did also find out why there were a bunch of police sirens going off in the truck stop. You can turn your CB on and you can hear what's going on without getting out of bed and going all the way to the front of the vehicle. Now, one of the things I'm really happy about is this Mica. I haven't Velcroed it down yet, but the Mica is a video player, or better yet, it's a file player. It's HDMI, and I have a 128 gig USB stick in there. That plays virtually anything you can download over the internet on your TV. So you're talking movies, music files like MP3s or WAV files, porn, whatever you want. So that device kind of did what the iPod or what the iPod did for music, that does for TV. 128 gig, I got probably 60 movies on there, and there's another room for a secure digital slot. So the movies you can put on there are virtually infinite. I mean, you can probably have 100 movies on that little device there. As opposed to a Blu-ray player, which I do have. I have a Sony Blu-ray player, plays DVDs, but as you see, DVDs take up space. So you only have a limited amount of space for that. So a device like the Mica that'll hold, dozens of movies comes in handy. I'm an amateur radio enthusiast, so there's a 2-meter radio that's charging up there. Additionally, in terms of my utility bank here, we have 2 fans. The fans are, I sleep with my head to the rear, so the fans will blow right on my head, so I kind of like that. Additionally, we have a typical mirror for one side, and the other side is a zoom-in mirror, so if you wake up with pimples or something and you want to find out, there you go. And of course, Kate Bach is going to be letting us know the month of November is here. Paper towels are stored up here. So this is how this utility system works. And now keep in mind, if you notice down at the bottom, that's the wheel well. That wheel well is carpeted just for insulation, but the reason I'm mentioning it is because the wheel well, from the wall to the wheel well, is 9 inches deep. So that's all you have is 9 inches of depth, and you're able to build quite a bit, as you can see. So I'll just show you another thing. Just like with the last vehicle, I had a bank of drawers here. These drawers are pretty cool. I would highly recommend getting them if you're going to do a van build, because they allow you to organize a lot of stuff. They're fairly deep. They're about 8 inches deep. As you can see, you can hold full-size metal utensils, so you don't have to be eating off of plastic all the time. And I mean, I just have a ton of things in there. Things are flying everywhere, but I have, everything from my watch to, sugars I get out of the pilot for my coffees, and pens, and you just name it, change and everything. So I would highly recommend getting these. They're only about $3.99. You can get them in different colors. You get 3 drawers for $3.99. Obviously, I have 2, and they mount right in there. I'll take you to the other side. On the other side, I also have a bank of upper shelves, or I call them overhead cabins, or overhead bins rather, and I have 2 more banks of drawers. As you see, I got the bungee cords I put on these drawers, because every time the vehicle starts up and takes off, it's like the house is going through a major earthquake. So anything that's not secure is going to come flying out. But you see, I got like I said, 2 more, an additional bank of drawers for everything from batteries to crackers to chargers, etc. Loaf of bread up above. But this is kind of what you're working with. Now, I'll take you back outside again and show you, like I said, once again. So remember, like I said, this whole utility bank is only 9 inches deep. So as you see, you can do a lot with 9 inches. I'll leave that to your imagination. But yeah, it's amazing what you can do with just 9 inches. And I'll actually come back up and show you once again in terms of how much you can do with it. Now, remember, like I said, I'm 6'6", 300 pounds, and yet still I have 4 pair of pants here and space to probably put 2 or 3 more pair because they're dirty or whatever. Pants, socks, full sweaters, shirts, and this, like I said, this is for a very big guy. So just with 9 inches of space, you can do all that. Now your clothes are not hanging all over the walls and things like that, like you see in some of the vehicles, and they're folded. And then in addition to that, at the bottom cabinet, we have food, and believe it or not, we're talking like 3 rows of canned goods deep. So you can put quite a bit in there. Below that, I have everything from a lot of the microwavable things that last a little bit longer, from rices and things. Believe it or not, I'm actually able to get a big, huge thing of protein powder in here. And there's actually even a battery booster pack down up in there. So that's how much stuff you can get in such a small amount of space if you'd really think about it. So there's ample space. And we go to the side here. I built another pocket, and where the entire wall has stuff on it. So you got your, I just put a light here just in case batteries or something go out and you need to get in here and there's no other lights. You got emergency lighting, 2 different emergency lights, extra bungee cords, which will end up probably being trashed. Cooking utensils. We got our, basically we use that to pull heavy or freight out the vehicle. Obviously, you're going to need these to secure freights with the belts. And then down below, I have other things like cleaning supplies. This is Formula 409, bug spray, and this here. Now, people always ask, when you got a white van, how do you keep it clean? Well, I use this Krylon Color Master spray paint. I haven't yet used it but one time. It's $5 a can, and it's high gloss. And if you ever do have any problems, you can just touch it up. I mean, there's, you know, as you can see, the floor has a few scuff marks here or there, but still looks really nice, really clean, compared to, you know, living in a darker, you know, the darker environment you see in some vans. So I like the white, and it also reflects light really well. So that is the main side of the van. So we'll go ahead and cover the other side. On the other side, now I don't like to lay in bed and look at lights. So my lights are all recessed up in the ceiling, and there's one there. If you notice here, there's 3 circles. You see there's one there, there's one there, and there's one there. The circles give me colored lighting. So with this remote, you can kind of hit it, and as you see, now I have blue light. If I turn this one off, you see now I can actually turn the cabin a variety of colors. Every color on this remote, I can hit and change the cabin to those colors. So if I want to do something funky, I rarely use it, but it was just a nice addition to the van. So we'll go ahead and turn the other main light back on, turn off the colored lights, and so that's kind of how that works. Now, with the overhead bins, the overhead bins are very similar to these lower bins. These lower bins can hold 4 or 5 shirts or jogging pants or whatever you want to put down there. Well, these overhead bins are the same way. Believe it or not, like I said, this is the 2500, so this is one of the smaller vans we use for expediting. And you see, I'm actually able to get so much storage in this that I don't even have all of the cabinets are not even full. But I'll just kind of see what I put in here. Things like, these are my spices for cooking and coffee, and I got what do you call it, creamer and things like that. I love my Greek seasoning, so that goes for that. And then of course there's I think I have underwear and things like that in here. Yep. So yeah, so you get your cabinet space there. I also have there's a perfect push-ups for them push-ups, and I have another section of cabinets, and I pretty much just use them for whatever, because like I said, building it this way, there's more space than you actually need. These are just simply bags from Walmart that I use for trash. So Now, one of the things I would say, you don't need a lot of carpentry skills to do this. I was able to do most of the building in this van while on the road in between calls. So it's that simple. Now I'm going to explain to you a few things here. Other things. Now, one of the things I didn't talk about, which is on top of the television, I have another compartment. This compartment is actually, let me take off these brackets here, or these fasteners I have built. I have these little interesting ways of fastening things. So I have a little hook and a little bungee cord. This folds down, and as you can see, I have a full recliner up here. So that can come down, and if you want to watch TV in comfort, there you go. That kicks up and you can recline. And that's a recliner for a guy my size. So that's not a small recliner. Now this hinged compartment you can use for anything. Long rifle, golf clubs, you name it, fishing rods, all types of things can go up there. So you just close it, latch your bungee cords over it, and boom, it stores right up above the television. That compartment is, I don't know what, a maybe 3.5, 4 feet long, so you can put quite a bit up there. I'll go ahead and take the chair out just for the simple sake of now showing you why these wood beam sockets are down in the E-Trex. Now, one of the things I'm going to explain, let me explain one thing before I do that. If you look from the outside of the van, the first thing you notice is the refrigerator in the middle there and the microwave. So people are going to obviously ask, well, how do you get 3 skids in there with that refrigerator sticking out? Well, I'll tell you, there are some schemes and scams to make that happen. And this is why I did not, and that, as a result, I didn't put my refrigerator in the front seat. First thing is, with the microwave only protrudes into the freight space. Remember, we want 54 inches of width. So the microwave only protrudes into that space by a couple inches. And if you notice on the front of the microwave cabinet, there are hinges that go all the way around. So this microwave can be taken out and those hinges will fold back, and that will actually make it so that that no longer intrudes into the freight space. The refrigerator can be pushed up against the wall, and when it's pushed up against the wall, it intrudes into the freight space probably another maybe 4 or 5 inches. And believe it or not, under most cases, unless you got a very wide skid, it will still fit in here. That third skid will still fit in here and can be secured to the E-Trex. Other schemes and scams you can work out is also, this vehicle has dual side doors. So the side doors open just as wide as the back door. So worst case scenario, you can also load it from the side. The side doors are just as wide and just as tall. And despite all of the stuff I have in here, both of my doors open. So I can open, that's the side door behind the fridge. And of course, this side door has nothing in front of it, so it just opens wide up. They're insulated and they open right up. So you got all types of options to get that third skid in here. And also, if you notice, I mounted my E-Trex on top of the floor as opposed to flush with it. So it allows me to slide, you know, medium weight freight. It allows me to slide stuff. So if I actually get a piece, if my third skid is less than, say, 400 pounds, I can usually push it over towards this door, secure it with the E-Trex, and the refrigerator can stay right where it is. I've done it numerous times. Or I'll tell the shipper to load the lightest skid in first so that it goes up toward the front. Now, the only other question one might ask is, you've seen everything. The only remaining question is, where does he sleep? So we'll go ahead and show you how that's done. I'll walk you from the back. Now, once again, the reason why I had to have these wood beam sockets down is just to speed the video up and not have to install them in. They go in pretty quickly, but I decided to leave them in just to show you how this is done. So behind my refrigerator, I have these huge planks. These are from a long piece of wood at Home Depot that would normally support down the center of a home. So that plank there is, I believe it's about between 5 and 10 pounds, and it is solid wood. It's covered in Gorilla Glue tape so that it doesn't splinter. I have 3 of these planks. So we'll go ahead and put these in while we're talking to you. There's 2 planks, 1, 2, 3. Now these planks will easily hold freight from sliding forward, which is what the E-sockets were designed to do. That's their number one, that's their priority purpose, is to stop freight from going forward. But the way that last one I put in crooked. But anyway, doesn't matter for this purpose. So, and they move. They're not locked in to the point where they don't move. But even with them moving, they have no problem doing their job. So I'll go ahead and show you how I sleep. Take this pillow out. I have 5 pillows in the van. Most of them are above the driver's compartment. But this particular wall is the bed. If you notice, it is on hinges. The hinges are behind so that freight doesn't come along and scratch them or scuff them or take them off. And you notice there's bungee cord behind, or better yet, it is attached to the overhead bin supports. So we take out the bungee cords, come back, and with one hand, I can let down the bed. So there we go. That is how we sleep. Now, there is one issue that anybody would immediately notice who sleeps, is that without a headboard, how do you keep the pillows from falling off the end? And it doesn't matter which end, because the bed is floating in the middle of the vehicle. So if you notice, good thing is there is room on the side of the bed that you can walk around it and do whatever you need to do. But you notice the bed doesn't go to the wall or to the doors in the back. So if you sleep, you're going to have to hold the pillows from falling off the edge of the bed. So what we'll do, I'll go ahead and show you that. Throw a couple pillows on the bed. And the way I designed this van to deal with that problem is under the mattress, if I can get it up, under the mattress is a plank. As you can see, another PVC plank. It is on hinges. So you see there's 2 metal hinges there. That is a pretty strong plank. And of course it folds up, goes straight up like so. And there's your headboard. You can push the mattress up against the bed, and boom, you're ready to party. And believe it or not, that piece of thin PVC is strong enough that I can sit up in the bed, put my back against it, and it'll hold me. So now you see kind of how everything works. You can lay in bed. You got your fans blowing on your head. If you wanted to use the CB or listen to the weather, it's at a touch of a button. You got your weather station. You can just glance over at. If you want to play video games or make coffee, everything is good to go. You even have the Blu-ray soundbar aimed at you, so you're going to get, which will flood this cabin with sound. That soundbar is just excellent. So everything you need is kind of right there. One of the things I noticed, to the point where I noticed, is that when I'm at home, I don't have this much stuff at the touch of my fingertips at home. I find myself at home often wishing this was there or that was there. So this is kind of how it works. Now, this vehicle does not have climate control. As you see, there's nothing in the roof. There's no heater or anything in here for climate control. And even though I have flannel sheets, pillowcases, and blanket, that's not going to cut it for the current temperatures we're having, which currently are 45 during the day. It was 17 at night last night in here. So in addition to the blankets there, I have a sleeping bag. And this is a pretty durable one. This sleeping bag is rated at negative 50 degrees, which is more than you'll probably ever encounter in most of the United States, or if not all. So, and I don't get in the bag. I use the bag as a comforter. You got the mattress, flannel sheets, and things like that that'll insulate you from the bottom. And you just open a sleeping bag up and lay under it just like a regular comforter, and it will keep you warm in here throughout the night. Which, like I said, last night it got down to 17, and I had no problem sleeping in here. So here's my entire setup. I'm still building, so you see there's still planks of wood here and there. I'll go ahead and show you my power, because people may wonder, well, how is he powering everything? This piece of wood here, which should be on hinges, but I haven't screwed it down yet, comes up, and below it I have 2 golf cart batteries hooked in series to give you 12 volts. There are 6 volts each, and hooked in series you get 12 volts. Then I went to Walmart and purchased their biggest deep cycle battery and hooked that in parallel to the other 2. So we got one system here. I'll go ahead and show you the numbers on these batteries. The Walmart battery, we're talking 845, cranking amps, which you shouldn't use, but we're basically 114 amps at 1 hour. That's what the Walmart battery claims to do. And the golf cart batteries are bigger and better than the Walmart battery. We're talking 132 minutes at 75 amps. So these are pretty substantial batteries. So that powers, that's the deep cycle equipment. Goes over to the inverter. Inverter also is getting power from the solar panels, and that kind of is what powers everything in the vehicle. Only thing left, yeah, so you kind of see what's going on. We had a 700 watt microwave, which could be better, but better means bigger, and we don't have the space for it. So, but yeah, this is my entire setup. If you got any questions, go ahead and put them in the comments, and we'll see what we can talk about. But like I said, this is the ProMaster 2500. So it's this the smaller one with a 3500 or one of those Fords. I think I could actually put a sink and potentially some type of toilet stool in it, because it's about 15 inches, or maybe even a couple feet longer than this. So obviously you see how much I was able to get in here. 2 more extra foot of length would definitely allow easily a sink. I could easily put a sink in there, and potentially on the other side some sort of a toilet or some sort of a stool. But that's maybe in the future for a different vehicle. So like I said, if you got any questions, comments, last thing I guess I would say is how the vehicle is insulated. Because here's a spot I didn't cover up yet. There is Reflectix all over the vehicle against all of the main walls, and on top of that you have these foam insulating pads. These are rated at like R1 or R3. They're very low, but as you can see, I multi-layered them. So the thicker they are, the higher the R value. So that is literally over the entire vehicle, behind the paneling on the doors. It's in the ceiling. The only spot that currently is not insulated is the last quarter or the last panel of the rear ceiling, and that's because a forced air vent will be going there probably in the springtime, and I'll insulate the sides of it. So other than that, I didn't show you the protective devices, but there is a smoke detector, there is a carbon monoxide detector down low on the outside of this cabinet here, and right above it is a fire extinguisher, just like any other vehicle. So that's pretty much it though, folks. Everything you can have on the road, so you can still expedite, but as I said, you're expediting in somewhat of comfort. If you got any questions, leave them in the comments, and we'll be talking. Otherwise, have a nice day.